Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? If you can't hear my voice, you can text on the chat box. Hello? Okay, great. So our Villa rendering course will start at 4:30 p.m. So maybe we can wait a few seconds to wait for others. Okay. So before our class, if you have some question about our design tool, you can just leave your problems on the chat box so I can solve for you. Or if you have any other further need for the design features, you want to learn more about our design tools, you can also type in the chat box and we will gather your requirements to see if we can arrange another training course on the web, on the YouTube. Okay. Okay. It seems my network is not stable. So please wait another more 3 seconds, 3 minutes. We we can start our class. So since time's up, okay, let's just start our today's class. As you can see here, today's webinar is about villa design. Okay, as you can see on the screen. Let me just make a brief introduction to myself. My name is Jason. I'm from Coohom Business Support Center, and uh, so you can see in here I have 5 years working experience as an architect. So I'm pretty skilled in rendering and modeling, and also I have a rich experience in training people. So a bit low. Excuse me. What do you mean a bit low? The speed or my voice? And during my class, if you have any questions, you can just leave your message in the chat box, okay? And let's just enter our today's class. So last time we have already used the, okay, let me see if I can turn a little bit to my voice. Hello? Can you hear my voice clear now? Hello? Is that clear for my voice? Okay, let's just continue. So last time we have already know how to use our 3D custom modeling tool to design the villa, right? So today we're going to use our rendering feature to create such a villa rendering by our design tool, okay? So as you can see, I just measured by our rendering feature. So let's see what the key operation for the rendering for the outdoors villa. So you can see this word. It's all about light. So during my working experience, I've done a lot of rendering pictures for the buildings. You know, the most important thing for rendering picture for the building is the bright and dark, the warm and cold, the simple and complex, which means we need to make a contrast on the pictures. Okay, so if you create a picture without the main point and the people they don't know where to focus, so we need to create a strong contrast between the main object and the surroundings. So in here you can see, so if we want to create a very high quality for the building rendering picture, we can use the light art to create. You can reduce the rendering wait times and enhance the operational efficiency. So to achieve what you see and what you get in our design tool, okay? So as you can see, this picture is made by the real-time rendering features, okay? So go back to the course, before we enter the design feature, you need to know we have some perspective composition for outdoor rendering pictures. So the first one is the one-point perspective that is normally used in the front face. Okay, we can use the directly facing the object to make the line vanish in one point. Okay, so that's normally used by the front face. And we also have the two-point perspective, which means we can create a very strong view for the object. Okay, so there is two vantage point in here. And third one is our 3-point perspective. We can create a 3 vantage point in the composition to create extreme angle, such like we can look upon the buildings or look down to the buildings. Okay, so those 3 different composition method can create different feeling for the design picture. Okay, so that's what you need to do. And for today, we are going to use the 1-point perspective view for the villa. So we're gonna use this 1-point perspective composition for our front face. Okay. So go back to our design feature. We have some different lights in our rendering part. We have the natural light, which represent the daylight and the skylight. So those lights are normally with the with a large range, and it will contain a general high illumination and affect by the times and season. So you can see the time temperature will change by the season, and the for the daytime in the morning or in the afternoon, it will represent different light temperature. And for the manual light, we can see there is different manual light, including the area light and spotlight, and also for those light strip. So these are the natural light and the manual uh, light. Okay, so after we know about this concept, we can go back to our design tool. So as you can see in here, we just this composition they were gonna correct for the straight lines. Okay, and also after we make the 1 point perspective view, we can change the aspect radius. So if we can reduce some of these images from our surroundings, we can use this one to cut the useless surrounding picture like this. Okay, so and also click to correct, move a little bit. Okay, I think the angle, and there will be a composition of the angle view for the rendering. Okay, so in here, as you can see, we have different ambient light template, like the faster, realistic, right? So normally I recommend you can use the realistic one. So because today I'm going to teach you how to use the real-time light, because it will reduce the time to wait to render. So we can choose this one. Okay, and we also need to open some advanced setting for our rendering, because if you want to create a better resolution for the rendering quality, you can open this advanced setting, the YouTube. Okay, so let me continue my course. As I show you, as I already mentioned about the advanced setting, we can click the advanced setting. As you can see, we have some setting that can help us to get a better resolution for the pictures in here. So the first one is our color correction. So when you move your mouse in this small icon of, you can see the difference between when you check this option, right? So when you choose this one, you can see the color on the floor cannot affect on the walls. Okay, so that's the first step you need to know. Open this one, color correction, and the second one, we can open this one, the impact highlight. So when we going to render some like the tiles or some high reflection of the like the mirrors or the metals, we can open this one to get a better resolution of this highlight on the textures. Okay, and also you can open the specular reflection. We can create a clear image on the high reflection objects and surface. So this option can help us get a better resolution. That's right, but you need to be aware of this rendering time. When you open this advanced setting, it may increase like 3 minutes or 6 minutes when you open too much for the high resolution. Okay, so after we open this advanced setting, we can continue to set for this scenario. So as I mentioned, we can use the real-time light, right? And before we open the one, as the HDRI image in this scenario is uploaded by myself. So because I couldn't find a good result for this public HDRI picture, so I tried to find HDRI picture by myself, and I've uploaded one. Okay, after I use this HDRI image, I can go to the real-time light. Okay, so let me choose one for you to show you quickly to how to set up with the scenario in this rendering part. I just select this light that I made, that I set, and I can close it. Then I can show you the step logic for this light set. Okay. So in here, as you can see, we can just uh, see the light in this scenario that I placed, and I can click the camera that I save angle for. So you can see that's the real-time rendering for the scenario, and I can hold shift to select these lights. Okay, and I can close it to uncheck this state, so the lights will close. Okay, so because we have already saved the angle of the camera, right, we can choose this one. So as you can see in this scenario, after we set with the HDRI picture, you can see the basic rendering effect for this uh, outdoor resolution. So in here, we need to, before we put any lights inside of this scenario, we need to be uh, aware of the basic effect for this scenario. So you can see in this scenario, we cannot make the bright overexposure, or we just let the dark shadow make it too dark. We cannot see the detail. So that's the one thing is very important. So we can just like when we set down with the environment. Okay, when we choose one of these HDRI picture, and you can see in here we have the environment, camera, and effect, which means we can modify the corresponding properties for this scenario. So let's see the first one, the environment. Okay, so in here you can see the HDRI image controls the light direction and the light effect in this scenario. So we can rotate it to see which angle is best for this scenario. Okay, so that's the how we can use the HDRI image to create different shadows and lights on the pictures. Okay, so that's the first one. Try to find the right position for the environment picture for the HDRI picture. Okay, and next, let's see how to set with the environment settings. Okay, in here, so you can see we have the outdoor brightness and ambient brightness. So you may see there's a little different. So when you move your mouth on the small icon, you can see the difference when you increase the number of the outdoor brightness. Okay, so that controls the HDRI brightness of the environment. Okay, so we can try to adjust a little bit to see the difference. So I think number 3 is enough, is good enough. Okay, and for the ambient light brightness, you can see we can also uh, make adjustment for the ambient brightness, so you can see the difference when you open it. The whole um, brightness for the buildings and ground will be lighted up by increase the brightness of the ambient. Okay, so we can just make it a little bit like in 5. And for the tone, you can see we can choose more cold one because we want to create a picture in in the evening, so we can choose the cold one. And also for the ambient light reflection, you will see a little bit different when we increase it, the highlight in the reflection object like the glass or the metals. So you can see when we increase it, it will make this object with a more highlight. So we can just make it like at 10, so that's enough. And also there are some basic parameters for the sunshine. So you can see when we open or close it, the difference. Because you see, because I make the brightness as 0, so you cannot see the difference when I uncheck this. So if I make it brighter and to make it a little bit higher, so you can see the sunshine is affecting our scenario. But since this scenario is evening, so we don't need the sunshine to affect too much on our building and the ground. Okay, so we can make it as 0 and make it the angle of the sun close to the ground. Okay, so that's the basic concept. If you want to create evening uh, affection on the buildings, you can make the brightness of the sunshine a little bit lower. So, okay, next we can make the temperature of the sunlight. You want to, if you want to create a more cold temperature, you can make the number as over 6,500. And if you want to make a warm temperature, you can in the morning or in the afternoon, you can make it lower, 3,000 or 4,000 for temperature. Okay. And as for the softness of the shadow, so normally that's the uh, you can see the difference when we get low softness of the shadow. So when we turn it into like 0, the shadow in this scenario will make it very sharp. So normally that's normally in the it's in the summertime. So the shadow of the shape of the shadow is very clearly. But if you want to make the shadow with a more soft, you can increase the number of the shadow. Okay, so that's what you need to know. So that's the basic setting for the environment. And after we set the environment and also choose make the right camera view, we can try to add some light in this scenario. Okay, so as you can see, one thing is very important for the evening time is that we need to make a warm and cold contrast, as I mentioned. So very important for us is we need to make the indoor space with a more warm light, right? So which means we need to add some light to light up the interior space. And for the outside one, we want to create a more cold, like a blue color, like right to apply in this scenario. So that's the contrast for the cold and warm light. So that's the first thing. And so you can see those light set it previously by me. Okay, so I can open this one to show you. So first we need to light up the interior time, right? So we can open this one. You can see after I open one of these area light, the space inside of the building is lighted up. Okay, so as you can see, if you want to make the inner space bright enough, we can find those area lines. You can see here the light template. We can try to find this rectangle area light to put on the ceiling. So you can see when we put this area light on the ceiling and then increase the light brightness and light, it change the light color, and it will make the interior space with a more and warm, more bright and warm atmosphere. Okay, so that's for how to light up the interior space. Okay, and now we can try to find, we can open another light. Okay, these two I can open it. see so that I can light it up for the third floor and choose one of these light and you can click these properties. Click this light to see the properties of the light. Okay, so as I mentioned, we can uh, change the light color by two different ways. So first one, you can choose the color of the light. You can see we have some default setting. We have 6 different color for light. But as you can see, if I choose this one and it's not warm enough, so I can make a little bit adjustment for the light color. I turn the colors a little bit orange, so make the color temperature warmer. Okay, and also you can see there is a double-sided, which means okay, I can duplicate one of these light out of the scenario. So you can see when I uncheck this option, there is only light from the top face. Okay, when I open this one, so you can see in here we have two direction on the walls, right? Which means it will create the line from two different direction in this rectangle area light. So when you open this one, you have got two uh, surface light. Okay, so we can delete this one. Let's continue. So after we set these basic indoor lights, we also have the first floor, right? So we can choose this light and I can open to you to see. Okay, sometimes you may be uh, very tired of setting every light in this scenario, right? So after you set one of these lights in here, you can see there is a applied light properties to the same light. Okay, which means when you set one of these light and you can apply these properties to the rest. Okay, so like if I make one of these and change the light temperature, like I'm gonna make it colder, choose this one and I can apply the light properties to the rest. So you can see all the light in this scenario turns to with a more cold color. Okay, so that's what you can do when you change one of these light and you can apply these properties to the rest same light. Okay, so let's keep next. We can add more light to make the building. So in here we also have some light to light up the front yard, right? So you can see I placed some of these spotlight. So I can select this one. So you can see I use this spotlight. Actually, it's a spotlight, right? But you can see in order to create such a light shape on the wall, I just rotate a little bit because when I make it straight towards the floor or to the ground, it may not create a very nice light shape on the walls, right? So you can just make it close, a little bit close to the wall, and rotate a little bit towards the wall, so it will just cause a better height light shape on the walls. So that's one tips you need to know. And same logic, if you set one of these color of the light, you can click this one and apply the light properties to the rest. Okay. I can not hear your response or words. Hey guys, can you hear me? If you have any questions for what I am teaching, you can just leave your message on the chat box. Okay. So let's continue to add more light. So in here, we also need to add another light to highlight the wall. So we can open this one. Same logic, we can put one of this light and just rotate it to the wall. So, and this one is maybe too warm for the spotlight, so I can decrease a little bit. Okay, and then in our picture, we can also uh, add some front plants like this, because we want to create a composition like this, right? We can make a composition like this, which means we need to add some like the front view, right? We can add some bush or plants to put in front of our camera. So that's the first plant. And second, we need to create some mid view, like we can put a car in here, right? So that's the middle view. And also we can create these background trees to make more layer, more sense of layer in this scenario. So we'll make whole scenario with a abandoned feeling for the whole house. Okay. Just wait a second. Let me see if there is some problem for my. Hello, guys. Okay. Maybe I can just continue. And also, we need to because we need to create a sense of layers, right? So we can add some front light. Okay, as you can see, I just add a 3 spotlight in front of the camera, so I can open it. So you can see it will create a light shape on the ground. So, okay, that's the extra light that we need to add in this scenario. And also in here, we can add this spotlight to highlight the walls. So we can open this one. There's another light. So as you can see, we just set this basic light for this scenario. So we can also create a shadow and light on the in front surface because you can see in this scenario the front face of the buildings is too flat. You cannot see some light and bright in this front face because remember we need to make contrast for light and dark, right? So we can just try to add a more spotlight. Okay, so you can see in here we can add one of these spotlights. Open this one. So because I want to make a tree shadow on the buildings, so I just put a tree and put another spotlight to create such a light and shadow on the front face of the buildings, right? Because we need to create different layers, right? Okay, so in here you can see we have the lights and the shadow of the tree on the buildings, right? Okay, so you can see when I choose this light, okay, you can see the softness of the shadow is 1, which means the the shape of the shadow is very clear. You can see the boundary of the shadow. When I turn it to increase the softness of the shadow, so you can see we cannot see the shape of the shadow. So you need to know what do you want to the effect that you want to increase. Okay, so make it as 1. Okay, then we can see if there is anything we can add. So, and in here we can also change the material if you want. Like if you want to change the color of the cars or some other things in this scenario, you can just try to find different materials in our public library and replace the material. Okay. Okay. As you can see, we have already set the scenario and complete it. So we can go back to the camera. So choose the angle of the view and we can make a quick render. Like you can render 2K resolution to see the demo. Okay, click render. Because I opened advanced setting for the rendering, so it may take a lot of time to wait. Okay, so maybe I can just uncheck this option and choose the angle. Okay, click to generate. Hey guys, do you have any question for what I said? Hey guys. Okay, before the uh, picture came out, we can make a small summary for our rendering steps. So first, you can see in here. Okay, first we need to make composition for our view of the angle for the camera, right? So as I mentioned, we need to create different perspective by one vantage point or two vantage point or three vantage point, which different type represent different of the uh, feeling of the building. Okay, so that's for step 1. You need to make the composition of the camera first, and second, we need to set the environment light. We need to, if you upload the HDRI picture, you can adjust the picture's direction to create different uh, light and shadow relation on the buildings. Okay, and also we can change the ambient light, like I can change the brightness of the
picture and also brightness on the buildings and on the high reflection materials. Okay, so that's the environment light. And also I can change the sunlight direction to increase the brightness of the sunlight. Then we can go to the artificial light, which we can add some area light, rectangular area light indoors, right, to quickly light up the indoor space. Okay. And also we can add some spotlight to highlight the shape of the building and to create like you can uh, create a light and shadow shape on the walls. Okay, and then we can just go into the setting, the high advanced setting to make better resolution for pictures. So that's the basic operation steps for rendering. And let's make a quick brief for the rendering. It seems we still wait in the rendering line, so we cannot see the result. But it's okay, you can see the picture that I rendered before. So in here, that's the result for the renderings. As you can see, we can get such a result. Okay, so if you are not quali qualified with this picture, you can go back to the setting to change a little bit for light properties or the materials as you want. Okay, so it's in the process now. And if you are satisfied with your result, you can just download these pictures. As you can see in here, we have the option for you to download the map, like you can download the original image with the material ID map. So if you want to make some after effect in the PS in the Photoshop, you can use the material ID map to control with different part of these textures to make some adjustment for the pictures and the materials, okay, as you want. So my network is not very fast, and that's the basic introduction for us to know how to make a quick rendering for the outdoor building in the evening. Okay, and if you want to create some other light template, you can click here, add, choose the real-time light, add. Okay, just wait a second. We can add the template. Maybe I can refresh my page. Click the real-time lights. So you can see sometimes the scenario will change our HDRI picture, so we need to our upload option, choose the original one. So okay, and maybe you can see here you can add some template real-time lights. Add this one. Okay, you can choose night. Okay, I don't. Oh, in here. Okay, sorry. You can see in here we have other light template for the realistic one. So we have the realistic outdoor. You can maybe choose this one in the for the evening template. and also you can see the difference when you choose this light template. Okay, choose the composition, and you can choose the resolution. Click to generate to see the difference. But as you can see, once you choose this light template, you may not get the right light setting because those models are made by my custom modeling feature. So you just need to know there is a different light template if you want to use this template first. Okay. So I think that's all for today's class. Hey guys, if you have any question for the rendering part, hello? Hey guys, anyone there? Hey guys, do you have any question for today's class? Okay, let me uh, just re-summarize this again. As I said, it's very important to create contrast in our pictures, right? The bright and dark, warm and cold, simple and complex, which means if you want to make the building simple, then you need to make maybe more complex scenario, like including different uh, plants, cars, and lights in the scenario, so we can make a contrast between the building and the scenario. So those the contrast. And if you like our course, you can subscribe our channel. So next time you will receive the notification for our webinar class. Okay. So guys, do you have any other question for today's class, or you have other question for our design tool? I can make a quick Q&A section in here. Okay, since no one is leaving your message in the chat box, so that's all for today's class. I'm sorry for the network because I cannot see your response in the chat box. Okay, that's all. Thank you guys. Goodbye.